Hello everyone. So arguably the biggest food channel on YouTube has got to be Tasty. And for the most part, the recipes are, I don't know, for me, pretty beginnerish. And that's not a bad thing, you know. I just find them not quite challenging enough for me. But you know, they pump out a lot of content, a lot of recipes, and every once in a while you come across one and you go, that'd be pretty good. Not traditional, but it would still taste great. And so today I'm making one of those recipes. So I've got a little bit of chicken stock on the go here. Now the recipe calls for chicken stock, and it calls for skinless, boneless chicken breasts. I bought skin on, bone in chicken breasts, deboned them, took the skin off, put them in this pot with an onion, some salt and pepper, and some water, and I've just got that simmering away so that later in the recipe when it calls for the chicken stock, I've already made some. Now I've butterflied the chicken breasts just to make them a little bit thinner, and to make them thinner still, I'm just going to pound them out. The recipe calls for a meat mallet. I don't own a meat mallet, so bottom of a frying pan works just fine. Okay, so those are flattened out. The reason to flatten them out is that you want them to cook evenly and quickly. I'm gonna wash my hands. All right, now season these, both sides, salt and pepper. Your hands really are the best tool for dealing with the chicken at this point. I'm using tongs just because I'm going back and forth to the camera and I'd end up washing my hands like 40 times before the video was done. So, salt and pepper both sides, and then we're going to drudge it in flour. And this recipe stays pretty true to the original right up to the very end. But I think it's going to be good. So, we're going to dredge these in flour. Okay, next up, we're going to heat some olive oil in this frying pan. The idea is that you're going to shallow fry the chicken cutlets. It calls for olive oil. I think I would probably use a different oil if it was my recipe. I don't think olive oil is the best for this. Probably something else, something neutral like a grapeseed oil would be great. Grapeseed oil mixed with a little bit of butter to give it some flavor, some really good flavor. But we're going to go with the recipe. And I'm going to move this banana bread out of the way. That video is elsewhere on our channel. Excellent. Looks like we're good to go. So, in goes the chicken. And you just want to lightly brown the chicken on both sides. So I think the chicken's done. It comes out of the pan now and you set it aside. Now what you've built in the bottom of this pan is oil and flour. You've essentially built a roux. Now when you deglaze the pan with some white wine, it's really going to help you thicken that sauce. And the recipe doesn't say what kind of white wine to use. I would use an Italian white wine since it's supposed to be an Italian dish. So, scrape up the fond on the bottom and simmer that until the wine has reduced by probably at least half. It'll thicken a bit as this happens as well. So this is pretty standard. This is the way to build a piccata sauce. Next in goes some butter. You just want to stir that in and melt it in. Really nice thickener and gives it a glossy finish. Makes the mouth feel absolutely incredible. Next in is some garlic. And I'm just going to crush it in. I hate chopping garlic, and this just, you know, this way just makes me happy. right? So you stir that in. Next in is some capers. So capers are super salty, really salty. And just stir those in. And at this point I've got the heat on a medium-low, just to kind of simmer it. And we need the juice of probably half a lemon. And as much as the really fancy lemon squeezer is fantastic, just squeeze it through your hands, catch the seeds, everything's fine. How it's coming together. Tasting spoon. That's good, really good. Not overly salty. I was worried about it being too salty because of the capers. It's nice and bright because of that lemon. It sort of brings everything to the forefront. It's got a nice thickness, but at this point we need to add in some chicken stock. So, let's see if I can pour some in without getting it everywhere. Cool. So we'll bring this back up to a simmer and thicken it down a little bit. So up to this point, we're still dealing with a pretty standard piccata recipe. Chicken piccata, veal piccata, either way. But of course, this is the Tasty recipe, so they add cream. Because everything has cream in it, I guess. And I know that I'm about to do something very sacrilegious, but I kind of like cream myself, and I think cream might add something to this dish. So pour it in, stir it in. I've got it on a low heat at this point. You don't want to be boiling it. So I'm just going to stir that in and get the cream nice and warm. And this is the point where we add the chicken back in. So got the chicken here. We put it back in the pan, get it coated with the sauce, and just sort of heat it back up. And there you go, the Tasty version of creamy chicken piccata. And so I'll just lay some of this sauce over top. Now they suggest serving this with angel hair pasta, and I think that would be amazing. I think this sauce would soak into the pasta really well. I also, just me being me, think that I'd have this with mashed potatoes and veg. I think that would go really well too. That's just the, Canadian in me. Let's give it a try. Yes. As I suspected. A mostly true chicken piccata recipe, right up to the very end, and then that cream just adds something. Something that I think was missing probably from the original recipe. Definitely 2 thumbs up. Give this one a try. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.